I think Enter the Dragon is the second official Kung Fu movie that I saw. So it came out in 73. I don't see it till 77. 73 was the year of the martial art movie explosion. All the movies of 73, I didn't see in 73. And that was the year I was in Tennessee. Back when I got back to California, every boy in school saw Enter the Dragon, except me. In fact, I even heard a kid even say, wow, is there any movie that more kids have seen more than Enter the Dragon? And they were like, no, there's not. Well, except for me. Okay, so I'm really into this idea of martial art movies. As by the time I finally watched it, almost 4 years after the fact, by this point in time, I've seen Kentucky Fried Movie. So I've seen the Fistful of Yen spoof of Enter the Dragon. Not knowing exactly it was a line for line, scene for scene spoof of Enter the Dragon. I mean, I knew the guy was obviously doing Bruce Lee, but I didn't know it was a complete scene for scene Mad Magazine takeoff on Enter the Dragon. So I'm sitting there watching Enter the Dragon, and believe me, I've seen Kentucky Fried Movie 5 times by this time. So now I'm finally watching Enter the Dragon, the movie I've been wanting to see. And it's like every other line is a line that the Zucker brothers fucked with and did something stupid with. And I just keep seeing the phantom jokes, all right, of this movie. It was kind of ruined for me a little bit to have seen the spoof of it 5 times before. Yeah, no. You knew Bruce Lee died before Enter the Dragon, and you're like that much of you're that much of an icon, and you are the beginning and the end of a sport or a genre, or that's something. That's a lot, actually. That's a lot. But is it worth it? Well, you're dead. Who cares?
Hey, yo, what's up? It's the RZA right here. And I'm telling you, tune in Into the Dragon. Bruce Lee, Jim Kelly, John Saxon, Bono Young, Sammo Hung, directed by Robert Clouse, and a great musical score by Lalo Schifrin. Into the Dragon, right here.
I mean, I first saw it on the second release. I think it came out August 1973. Okay, and I think New York, it made it to New York in August. Well, here's something that's crazy. Hip hop itself starts in August 1973. So
really?
Yes. So Into the Dragon, hip hop has this parallel life. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. It's the 50th anniversary of this film. And it's maybe no coincidence that, my first album is named partly after this film, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers instead of Into the Dragon. Yeah.
Right.
It's really a parallel. Yeah. And for me, when I first saw it on the second release, and that might have been like maybe 5 years after its initial release, I was just enamored by Bruce Lee's magnetism. And it led me to go and research his books. He wrote a book, The Tao of Kung Fu, and Chinese Kung Fu, his first manual. This film is his final film, but he continues to be discovered by generation after generation. You said you wrote it in 3 weeks, and that makes sense, right? In a way. It makes sense in a way that sometimes the best lyric comes in 10 minutes. The best song comes in a flash. Well, what's also amazing about the film is what it also launches, right? Of course you have Lalo Schifrin, the great composer of this film. The music in this film, of course, is a character within itself. And he did other films for Warner Brothers like Dirty Harry. And if you go back and watch Dirty Harry, you could hear the foundation of Into the Dragon composing style. Well, Warner Brothers made a lot of money on the movie. He said this movie, but Michael, you said it cost less than $1 million, and they say that up to date that the inflated value of what it's earned around the world is $2 billion. That's what you call an investment flip, diversifying bond. Yes. That's cash rule everything around me. That's everything.
Totally true.
Fist of the North Star, that whole anime series, Dragon Ball Z. Jackie Chan is a stuntman here. Sammo Hung is just a quick shot here. In this
Right at the
movie.
beginning. Don't miss Sammo Hung.
Jim Kelly becomes, that leads to Three the Hard Way. Angela Mao. You don't get Rush Hour, right? You don't get Michelle Yeoh.
That's right.
You don't get none of that without getting this first.
Michelle Yeoh.
And I think that I'll just say this about the power of Hollywood, and we all can agree, and we're here, is the way that Hollywood is able to take artists and then redefine them, right? It puts it in a way that multiplies it. Because if you watch, Bruce Lee earlier movies, they're good movies, but this is a masterpiece, and I think it comes from the ingenuity of all the people in Hollywood who's been so studied in film, like Alelo, like Robert Clouse, and even with giving a young guy like you a chance like that, but all that energy coming together with the right talent. John Saxon was probably really struggling, right?
Probably, yeah.
But when you put all that talent together, the set designers, the production designers, the DP, you get something magical. And when you get an artist like Bruce Lee, and you put him in the middle of that, it's much more different than putting him in his Hong Kong films, because now there's just a certain gravitas and a certain ingenuity that expands it. And whether Hollywood knew it or not, because I know you guys, I don't want to change subject, but I know you guys are also screening Carmen. And Carmen is another film, $1 million to make, right? But when you put the right artist with the right talent at the right moment, it becomes invaluable. And that's what we're about to experience watching Enter the Dragon, something that's just invaluable. Of course, I mean, first of all, he was inclusive, right? In this film, this is one of the first diverse casting when you have John Saxon, Jim Kelly, Bruce Lee, Angela Mao. You get Korean actor as the villain. You get this diverse cast, but Bruce himself, if you study what he stood for uplifting, for uplifting his people and all reality. I read one of his quotes. He said that at the time, Asian Americans actually was very docile and they're speaking up for their own culture. But he wanted to be shattering. He actually said that he likes the way Malcolm X is doing it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I know that's pretty radical, but at the end of it, as my father said, a closed mouth don't get fed. And I think that energy of showing that the stereotype of what Hollywood was doing with the Asian characters and doing with black characters, just making everybody become stereotypically stuck at one point and not showing the diversity of them, of course, the strength of them. I think that he championed that, and when the black community saw that, right, we saw, here go this guy who was physically able to show his skills, and then also within that world befriend, Jim Kelly, John Saxon. I think it just really resonated with us. And I know that in my neighborhood, everybody got a pair of new Chucks. Everybody was like,
Bruce Lee, who was an American, right? People got to, he represents the Asian culture, but he was born in America, went back, made it big in Hong Kong, then came back to America and took it to the next level again. And when you look at some of those break dance moves and some of the philosophies that he brought to mixing more styles together, Jeet Kune Do, which means the way of the intercepting fist, or also the way of, he combined boxing with fencing, with Wing Chun.
Yes.
Right? He put all those MMAs together before it was even that, right? Exactly. Hip hop also is that same type of product, where you do have the soul of James Brown, the jazz of Thelonious Monk, you know what I mean? The rock beat of Billy Squier.
And the crazy thing I would say, now I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound a little crazy, a little esoteric, right? So in our world, we have the major prophets, right? Abraham, You know, Moses, Jesus, right, Muhammad. But
Not here.
I also think there's minor prophets, right? And that's the people who also come here on earth for a short period of time and do something that changes the world. And I think Bruce Lee is one of those people.